So with the newest JJK leaks, I just wanted to take advantage of this and make a video on it, since there have been many lore drops being dropped within just one chapter. So if you like these type of videos, please remember to like and subscribe, and have a nice day. We start off with Maki telling Karma that Kappa and the samurai guy, I still can't remember his name, have been heavily damaged. And was Karma makes a note about it, and Maki even says he isn't acting like his usual self. Karma then states that he isn't the head of the Karma clan anymore and calls himself worthless, kind of like I don't know how to explain it. There's this one character who finds himself thinks they are worthless. In fact, it even mirrors how Yuji doesn't think he has any worth in real life, and he just thinks he's a cog in the machine, right? Maki then tells him that he shouldn't really be bothering over all of this stuff, and he should just do what he wants anyway. He doesn't really make that he shouldn't make the same mistake that she did, right? It then pans back to Karma's like younger brother, I think, saying talking about how he thinks Karma is a nice person, or he hopes how Karma is a nice person. And then they talk. We see his mother explain why she calls him Karma. It says because she's angry, right? And she basically just gave him the name so he can ditch them and come home to her. So it seems to me as if he's been separated from Karma, right? We don't know if Karma's mother is actually in the Karma clan. We don't know if this is actually what's going on currently, or we don't know if it's a flashback. It wouldn't make sense if it was a flashback, since like it wouldn't make sense if it was a flashback, since Kamo isn't there. And then we pan back to the angel sitting on top of a building, right, or inside the top of a building, talking to Megumi and calling him her destined one, right? This just makes sense, as like Yuji is kind of like, it goes along with Yuji being implied to be a cog, whereas Megumi has this greater destiny, and Megumi is denying his destiny so he can save the cog, which would be Yuji. It makes loads of sense narratively, right? Megumi is then stated to be out for like almost 3 days, just showing how much Reggie beat him up. We then pan back to see Takaba, or the comedy guy as I like to call him, coming in with foods. They talk about how like electricity hasn't been disabled throughout the barriers and that, and how we see Yuji sipping wine. We see how Yuji and Takaba meet up and they chase after Megumi because they see the angel Hana flying away with them, and that's basically just a brief explanation of how they met up, right? And then we finally learn that Yuta and Hakari have all gotten the points they needed, and now they can save Megumi's sister, right? Because Megumi's sister has now become an incarnated sorcerer, I'm presuming, right? So yeah, just going on a mission to save her sister. So and then Megumi is like, after asking both the angel and Takaba if they could use their points, they both agree, and Megumi himself is like kind of sussed out because he's surprised that everything is going so well, right? Yeah. And then he asks Hana if she's the angel, which should be pretty obvious due to the halo on her head and the wings. But I mean, Megumi always been a skeptic, so he asks her if she's the angel. Obviously, she replies with yes, and then we see that and a mouth appears on the side of her like cheek. So like I think this is just a common trait for incarnated sorcerers who are living side by side with their hosts, right? And then they are able to sprout out mouths all over her body. At first, I thought she had eaten one of Sukuna's fingers, and there were multiple finger bearers in a sense who weren't completely taken over by Sukuna, or who didn't turn into that one curse, right? But yeah, I thought there would be multiple people who have Sukuna within them, but it seems not. It seems not. But yeah, they basically, the mouth on our side basically talks about them and says how you can negate curse techniques, right? At first it was said to be extinguished, but now it's negate, so it's kind of like the inverted spear of heaven, assuming the inverted spear of heaven has like a curse technique on it, right? So yeah, she's able to negate curse techniques. It's also right. This states that how they are afraid of Kashimo and how they didn't want to come to Tokyo Colony number 2. I'm presuming, or Tokyo, or that one Tokyo Colony. Yeah, Tokyo Colony number 2, because he's like, Kashimo is there and there are loads of curses. So it seems to me like they aren't really the combatant type. They just have hacks that can instantly kill people, right? But yeah, They state their intentions about how they want to kill every incarnated sorcerer, and when they basically talk about how to incarnate within a person, you have to basically like unconsciously or subconsciously like crush the person's original will so that it can take them over. But we see that Hana, Sukuna, all of that, they are basically like living in union or like symbiosis, right? And then it states that it's not impossible for her to like kill the incarnated sorcerer while leaving the person, but it's very unlikely. And since we know that characters in JJK are kind of miracle workers, it wouldn't be a stretch to assume that she could do this to Yuji and it would work. However, since we see that, the author has no qualms with killing off Yuji, then, it's kind of put in a sticky situation, right? We then see like what's to see we then see that she can get rid of the prison realm, and even Megumi again is surprised that like everything is going so well, but she says before she's able to do that she needs something from Megumi and Eugene. And then, like also says, Megumi finds it like surprising, or he finds it tough to think that he can kill all of the incarnated sorcerers, which would be kind of impossible. I don't think anyone in the calling games, but if you don't think if Gojo isn't there, could kill all of the incarnated sorcerers. But yeah, um, what's his name? Yeah, talking for so long is hard. But yeah, it just states that she wants to kill the disgraced one, and then it pans back to Sukuna before Yuji can even say anything, right? Yuji then comments on his disgust with Sukuna, and Sukuna states he is the disgraced one, right? Now, what I think this should mean, we know that earlier on in the series, Sukuna is referred to as the Honored One, and the name Ryomen Sukuna kind of means two-faced exorcism, right? So it should make sense that either Sukuna's done something and some people perceive it as bad, hence they sense the disgraced one, or other people perceive it as good and he himself perceive it as good, whereas the term the honored one, right? So he's honored by some and then dreaded by others, right? And it should make sense since like Ryoma Sukuna, the actual person, was honored by some and revered as a god by some, whereas others revere him as some kind of demon, right? This should make sense. It's like since like Gojo himself too is also revered to as the honored one. So being the honored one isn't necessarily something that has links with your morality, whereas it's just something that has links with your strength. I'm pretty sure, right? So that could be a theory about it, right? Or you could also say that okay, Sukuna is called this because he's committed some form of crime against God, right? You could argue that oh yeah, he's allowed humans to use jujutsu. That could be a sick theory because he allows humans to channel their cursed energy into emotions, right? Therefore, what's his what's his name? That's why he got become the disgraced one. Hence why the angel is like able to extinguish curse techniques, right? This is because she's like obviously reclaiming what God quote unquote like gave to the Jujutsu world. That could also be a pretty solid theory for what's going on here. But I'm going to wait till chapter 200 to give my final opinions. If you like chapter reviews like this, please remember to like and subscribe and have a nice day, guys.